Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. If you've never been here before, my name is Megan, and I'm the witch here round the cauldron. Today's video is a witchy tag. I was mentioned in two people's videos, Taya's and Beck's, the Witch's Cookery. I'm not sure if they actually tagged me in the video to do my answers, but I'm gonna do my answers anyway. So this tag was created by Ravenflower, and thank you so much, Ravenflower, for putting all of these questions together. It's basically just a bunch of different questions for witch's perspective. So we're gonna do that today, but I want to say hello to all of the new people who are now subscribed to my channel. Welcome. I am glad that you're here, and I hope you get something out of my videos and the things that I create. It's a beautiful day today. It is currently about 9 o'clock in the morning where I am on the day that I'm recording. So I decided to record outside. So I live in a city area, so you might hear airplanes or dogs or cars or whatever. So I apologize about that, but it was too nice outside to not record out here, so here I am. So yeah, we can get into the questions, and the first question is, do I believe in New Year's resolutions? And then the second question is why or why not. I realize I'm a little late to this tag, considering that it's March and it's no longer January for the new year. But I mean, I guess New Year's resolutions are a thing. I prefer setting goals rather than resolutions. I think the way that I view resolutions anyway is that they're usually very vague. Sometimes they are very unachievable in a sense. And so I actually did a whole video, I think last year or the year before, about setting SMART goals instead of resolutions for the new year. So I will link that up here somewhere, and I'll leave it in the description below. There's an airplane. But yeah, I prefer goals, especially setting SMART goals, because it is more realistic. You just wait a second for that to pass because that's really loud. Goodbye, airplane. Anyway, yes, I prefer setting goals because they are generally more realistic. If you break them down using the SMART method, which SMART is an acronym, you set a timetable, you make sure that it is sustainable and achievable and realistic, and things like that. I prefer those over resolutions, which are generally very vague, like I want to lose weight in the new year. Okay, well, that's a very broad statement. So it's better, I think, to break it down into goals, and the smaller goals that you can do, the better. Okay, anyway, so the next question is, what is my favorite color? And then the question after that is, does the color, I think it's, does it hold magical or emotional meaning for you? So I think it's safe to say that my favorite color is black. I wear a lot of black. Most of my wardrobe is black. I think it always has been. I am an emo and a baby goth at heart. If I had an infinite amount of money, that is what my aesthetic would be. But it doesn't really hold any sort of magical meaning or anything like that. I think the emotional thing would just be, I prefer black. I prefer darker colors, more neutral colors. I don't generally do a lot of vibrant colors. I think the most vibrant thing that I own is a tank top with orange flowers on it, maybe. And I only have that because it's a tank top. So, colors. Yeah, black. I would say black. If I had to choose a color that wasn't black, I would probably choose green or purple. Purple is very deep. I prefer, like I said, the darker colors. But I like purple, and I like green and earthy tones. So if I had to choose anything that wasn't black, it would be one of those two. The next question is, do I use substances in my magical practice? And then why or why not? And for substances, the tag says like herbs, salves, flying ointments, and things like that. So I use herbs, but I don't use them in the way that the word substance has a connotation. So like I drink teas and things like that, but I don't generally use them for trance work or anything to really put me in an altered state of consciousness, which is what I associate the word substance with. And I think the reason for this actually is because, one, my body is weird and I'm allergic to a lot of things, and some things affect me in a very strange way, so I would just rather not risk it. The second thing is I have an addictive personality by nature, and I would rather not risk that either. And you know, that's a personal preference of mine. I don't care if other people use substances in their practice, to each their own, you know. But for me, it's definitely not something that I think I would entertain, just because for me, the risk outweighs the benefit. The next question is, what is my favorite part of my practice? And honestly, my favorite part of my practice is just the connection that I have with the things around me. Like I'm sitting here outside in front of a tree in my backyard, surrounded by the wind. There are falling leaves around me and the moss swinging from the tree. I can look over here, I see my garden, and I can see the teeny tiny green little tomatoes that are starting to grow on my plant, and my cabbage is doing great. But having the connection with the land around me, of course, having the connection with the land around me is very important to me, because that's part of where I draw on the energy for the things that I do. And my practice is very practical. You know, I do things to help me focus, or to help bring in prosperity and abundance when I need it, or to, even help my plants flourish and thrive so that we can have fresh garden grown vegetables whenever I want to go out to the garden and pick them. I don't know, like it's the practicality and the ease and the comfort that I have in my practice now after doing it for so long. Sometimes I can do different little spells and rituals without even really thinking about it, because I'm so connected to myself and my own practice, and what I need and what I can and can't do. And then as far as polytheism, because for me, I generally separate my witchcraft and my polytheism just because it's easier. I don't generally involve deities in my craft, unless I need help, but that's a little different. I wish I could easily turn the camera around and show you how the leaves are blowing down from the trees. Yeah, okay, so for my polytheism, that also comes down to connection and personal relationship with the deity. I was reflecting, and I might write a blog post about this, but it does get kind of personal. But I was reflecting on how I have changed and how I have grown in myself since working with Bridget and since honoring her and worshiping her. And honestly, it's been little changes over time that have made the biggest difference. And looking back on where I was when I first started versus where I am now, a lot has changed, but it has been over the course of small changes within myself. And I'm very grateful to her for that, because I don't I don't think it would have happened without her, but it is complicated. So maybe I'll end up writing a blog post about that. But I think for both parts of my practice, the witchcraft and the polytheism, it both comes down to connection and practicality and change, of course. Now the next question is, what is my least favorite part of my practice? And I think I am gonna go along the grain with everyone else that I have seen so far. The least favorite part of my practice is the cleanup. After doing a spell or a ritual, you know, I'm a lazy witch by nature, and I already have a million things that I do throughout the day, and sometimes a couple days can go by before I actually clean up from a spell or a ritual, depending on where it happened. The cleanup is definitely my least favorite part of just about anything, and that includes witchcraft. The next question says, how do I feel my practice has changed over time? And this one is obvious to me, and it's going to be obvious, I think, to anybody that has been with me when I started Round the Cauldron from the beginning, because my practice started when I was in my early teens, when I found Wicca, and it has ebbed and flowed and grown and shrunk over time. But the most prominent change, I want to say, has happened in the last couple of years since starting Round the Cauldron as a podcast and as a YouTube channel, because I started Wiccan, or Neo-Wiccan, and joining online communities and seeing everything that's out there has really changed and grown my practice and grown my perspective, really. And I think that is the biggest thing that has attributed to my growth, because I started Wiccan, I started very, I don't know, it was really superficial for me. It was surface level, and I didn't really go deeper because I didn't have a lot available to me until I joined the online community. And then it's just like all downhill deep dives from there. And I've learned so much over the last several years about myself and about my practice and what I'm capable of and what I like and what I don't like. And just that sort of growth is amazing to me as a person, as a witch, and as a pagan. And I don't know if that's really an answer to the question, but I'm sticking to that one. The next question is, do you have a familiar? And no, I don't. I have several pets. I do not view familiars as physical beings. Familiars to me are spirits that are there to help you in whatever way you need help. Generally, they take the shape of animals, but they don't always. And they're not something that you create. They are there, they find their way to you, or you call out to a spirit asking if they would like to be your familiar. I don't have one. I have never really felt the need to do something like that, but I have entertained the idea, especially as I get further along in my practice. It is becoming something that is more interesting to me. So we'll see what happens in the future, but as of right now, I don't have any familiars, and I don't generally work with specific spirits on a regular basis like that outside of deities. The next question is, do you have any channels that you would recommend? And I do, and I split this into two categories. The first category is more witchy. There's an ant on my camera, and I hope it doesn't crawl like across the lens. That would be hilarious, and I'm not gonna edit it out. Anyway, the first category is witchy YouTubers that have less than 10,000 followers or subscribers, because I feel like the bigger channels like Hearth Witch and The Witch's Cookery and, you know, The Witch of Wonderlust, and everybody already knows who they are. And I wanted to recommend channels that are smaller, because us small channels deserve love too, you know, and we have things to say and we have people that will listen to us. Anyway, so I have several. Ari, the Oak Witch, I definitely recommend her channel because she talks about things that are very important, I think, in witchcraft spaces. She doesn't generally share a lot of personal practice, which is totally fine. But like her most recent video, as of the time of recording this video, is about how to identify and know if a plant species is endangered. And this is like her area of expertise, because this is what her education is, like her university education. And it's a fantastic video, but she talks about like how to know if a species is endangered. She's done videos on cleansing and fear-mongering in the witchcraft community, and she is an amazing person, and you should definitely go check her out, check out her channel. I will leave everything linked in the description below for her and all the rest of the other channels that I'm going to mention. The second channel that I want to mention is somebody that mentioned me, Heather, the Wild Woodland Witch. She has an amazing channel. She is a forest witch, and she goes out into the forest and she does so many crafts that have to do with herbalism and nature, and her channel is such an inspiration to me. She is a preschool teacher, and it's hilarious to me that I found her channel, because I am in the process of healing my inner child and being more playful and doing more childlike things, which is so very hard for me. But she has been such an inspiration to me, and she has become a good friend, and you should definitely check out her channel too. Another person that I think you should check out is Katrina, the Stitch and Witch podcast and YouTube channel. This one might not be relevant to a lot of people because she focuses on fiber arts and bullet journaling and a lot of crafty things, books and personal talks and rambles, and she's such a funny person, and I was actually on her podcast, so we had lots of fun talking there. I will leave a link to that too, but I would definitely check her out, especially if you are more into crafting and fiber arts and bullet journaling. And then the last person I'm going to recommend is Fel the Blythe. And Fel is a Hellenic polytheist. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, she said that she doesn't do a lot of magic or a lot of witchcraft. So if you're into Hellenic polytheism, if you want to learn more about Greek deities and Greek worship, definitely check out Fel's channel too. Now the next three channels that I have are not witchcraft related channels, and they are bigger channels because they just are. The first channel is Rose from the Cheap Lazy Vegan. She has been a big help to me in my path with my lifestyle and the way that I eat, especially coming from a family that meat is like a staple in the diet. I have gone back and forth so many times with the way that I eat, going from, you know, your standard American diet to veganism and pescatarianism and vegetarian and keto and Mediterranean diet and all kinds of stuff. But I generally feel better when I eat a plant-based diet. So she has been an inspiration, and she has been such a big help to me. So if you are wanting to incorporate more plant-based food into your diet and lifestyle, I would definitely recommend checking out her channel. Again, Cheap Lazy Vegan. Enough said. The next channel I want to recommend that doesn't really have to do with witchcraft is one that I actually recently found yesterday. And I have gone through so many of his videos, and it is called Self-Sustainable Me. And he is in Australia, but he does videos about his homestead and gardening, and I am trying to become more self-sufficient when it comes to growing my own food. So he's been a fantastic help for me, and I've learned so much from him and his experiences. So definitely recommend his channel if you're looking to do the same. And the last channel that I want to recommend is Shelbitzel. Shelby lives in Texas, and she has an education in, I forget exactly what it's called, but it has to do with environmental science. And she helps people through YouTube, you know, doing her different series that she does to live a more sustainable, eco-friendly, zero waste lifestyle. She does videos on greenwashing and how companies and corporations will say their products are eco-friendly, but they're actually not, and they're just using a bunch of buzzwords to make you buy their shit. She does videos on like eco-friendly or sustainable alternatives to really popular products, and she's very accessible. Like, one of the things that I love about her channel is that she doesn't recommend you throw out all of your plastic storage containers to buy glass. That's wasteful, because you want to use what you already have before you buy new, right? Or not even new, thrifted or secondhand or whatever like that. So her channel is accessible, and I like it. She's taught me a lot too. The next question says, name something you must do daily for your mental or emotional well-being, or for your practice. Honestly, my daily things change. I can tell you this though. If I don't have my cup of coffee in the morning, it's like, it's over. My day is ruined. And that has nothing to do with witchcraft. It's just something that I do every single day. I try to meditate regularly. It doesn't necessarily happen daily. One thing that I do make a point to do during the week at least is to light a candle at my altar, sit or stand in front of my altar for a minute in stillness and silence, say my prayers, recite the genealogy of Bridget if I am feeling the need to. But that's about it. I want to say too, getting outside. Being outside, sitting in my backyard, or just coming out here to stand for a few minutes does wonders for my mood, my mental health, and just my emotional stability. The next question says, what is something that started as an obstacle, but you can now see it as a blessing? What? Yes. Yes. You're welcome. You're all right. I'm almost done. I think that might be the answer to my question. Being a mom. And that sounds really terrible when you think about it as like an obstacle. But honestly, being a witch and being a pagan as a mom and constantly being interrupted has given me the ability to focus when it's not quiet, has given me the ability to tune out the things that aren't important, listen for the things that are important, and still pay attention to what I'm doing. So yeah, that's my answer. The next question says, which do you prefer, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok? That's a loud truck. So I only use Facebook for personal things. I no longer use my business Facebook page because I hate Facebook. I'm not on TikTok. I have an account. I don't use it anymore. TikTok is a time suck for me, and it's really easy for my brain to just be like, give me more dopamine, just more videos, more videos, more videos. And I hate it, and it just takes up way too much of my time. I like YouTube because I like being able to sit here and speak with you all and talk to you. I also like being able to listen to other people that I am subscribed to, or even people that I'm not subscribed to, and I find interesting things, and I learn so much from YouTube. Instagram is okay. I have a love-hate relationship with all forms of social media at this point in my life, and I have honestly thought long and hard about leaving it all, getting rid of Instagram, getting rid of TikTok or Facebook and Twitter, and not YouTube because I like YouTube, and just like sticking with a newsletter for people that really care about what I have to say and don't just sit there and scroll through a bunch of people's pictures and never read the caption, you know? So yeah, I guess my answer to that question is I prefer YouTube over all of the ones that were listed there. What do you feel is missing from our witchy community? Which community? like witchy community. There are so many, and each one is intrinsically different in its own way. There are some communities where it's all positivity, and that's just not for me, I guess. I think if I had to choose one thing that would be a common theme that I see online is more realism, more realistic stuff. Like, yes, the fancy, aesthetically pleasing YouTube videos are amazing to watch, but if I'm being honest with you, I spend the majority of my day inside sitting at my computer working, because I'm a freelancer. I work for myself. I have clients. You know, I homeschool. I have shit to do. I'm not out here, you know, going to the park every day or walking through the forest or spending 10 hours a day underneath this tree. You know, it's a pipe dream. It's aesthetically pleasing, sure, but it's not realistic. I want to see more realism in the communities, more practicality, more, you know, here's a picture of my messy ass altar because it's not picture perfect and I did a working here and things are everywhere. More realistic stuff. That's what I want. That's what would help me personally. The next question says, how much space do you use for supplies and spell work? As much as I need, I guess. I don't have a lot of tools. My supplies are generally what I already have on hand. I have some herbs that I keep separate from my cooking herbs because I don't use them to cook, but that's about it. Like, just as much as I need. My yarn supply, candles. Yeah, that's average, I guess. I don't need a lot. I don't use a lot in my practice. So I don't need a lot of storage. How many altars do you have in your home? A dedicated altar space? 1. And I guess technically it's 2 because it's one surface with 2 altars. Actually, I lied. 3. 1 needs some cleanup and I haven't used it in a while and it really needs some attention. Yes, so I have my deity altar, I have a self-love altar, and I have an ancestor altar. Other than that, anywhere can be an altar. My kitchen counter if I'm cooking, my floor if I'm doing tarot readings because I don't have a dedicated table space for that. Yeah, that's about it. What is your favorite sabbat? I think I'm partial to Imbolc and Samhain. Imbolc because it is a celebration of Bridget for me. It's very much connected to my Irish practice. And then Samhain because I like Halloween. It's very liminal. It feels like a very in-between time. Things are getting darker and spookier, and that's what I like. Yeah. Very simple answers, I guess. Do you prefer tarot, runes, oracle, or pendulum? So at this point, I have several tarot decks. I like reading tarot. It's what I'm comfortable with. But I am learning Ogham. I have been learning Ogham for a while. It has been a long process. And those are what I prefer, I think. Just those 2, I guess. Ogham is something that I'm still learning. It's something I'm not necessarily comfortable with, and I still have to look up the meanings of each fid. Tarot is something I'm way more comfortable with, and I don't generally have to look up meanings of the cards unless something is really stumping me for some reason. But yes, those are my preferences for divination. I have a pendulum. I don't really use it though. It's pretty though. My sister-in-law made it for me. Are you out of the broom closet? Generally, yes. I make public videos here on YouTube. If people ask, I tell them. My family knows. My friends know. Yeah, I guess so. I guess I am. And then the last question says, who am I going to tag in this video? I am going to tag, I don't know. Ari, I will tag you if you want to do it. No pressure though. Let's see, who else can I tag? I think I will tag Katrina, Stitch and Witch, if you want to do this. And honestly, anybody else. If you see this video and you want to answer these questions, go for it. This is your official tag. I am tagging you if you want. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this chaotic outside video. The wind is starting to blow more. My butt hurts from sitting here on this ground, and I got work to do. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for being subscribed to my channel, especially if you're new here. Welcome again, and I will see you next time. Bye for now. Oh, I forgot to mention Patreon, Discord, all of that stuff if you want to help support the channel. If you want to join a witchy community, all of those links are in the description below. All of the links for anybody that I tagged, anybody that I mentioned will be in the description below. And now I will see you next time. Bye.